Hi, my name is Michelle Arujo, and I did my test exploration on the test of written language, otherwise known as the TOEFL 4. The test of written language was created by Donald D. Hamill and Stephen C. Larson. The publisher is ProEd, and their address and website are listed on this slide. This version was published in 2009, and the price is listed at $274. There are 4 components to the TOEFL 4: an examiner's manual, a set of record story scoring forms that can be used on either Form A or Form B, a set of student response booklets for Form A and a separate set for Form B, and 3 picture cards. The picture cards contain a sample and 1 card each for Form A and Form B. The purpose of the test of written language is to measure students' abilities in writing, identify students that struggle in reading, and to see what degree they struggle. This is the 4th revision of the TOEFL. The original test was released in 1978 and revised in 1988, 1996, and the 4th revision was done in 2009. The test was normed on 2,205 demographically represented individuals in 17 states between 2006 and 2007. These individuals included a range based on geographic region, gender, race, ethnicity, household income, education level of parents, and disabling conditions. It's appropriate for students ages 9 years 0 months through 17 years 11 months, and it has 2 forms, A and B. Each form contains the 7 subtests. The test has both age and grade-based norms for fall and spring. The subtests for the test of written language contain the important parts of writing. This includes vocabulary, where the student writes a sentence that uses a particular word; spelling, where the student writes sentences from dictation, making sure to use spelling rules; punctuation, where the student again writes sentences from dictation, making sure to use punctuation and capitalization rules; logical sentences, where the student edits an illogical sentence so that it makes sense; sentence combining, where the student integrates the meaning of several short sentences into one grammatically correct written sentence; contextual conventions, where the student writes a story in response to a stimulus picture; and finally, story composition, where the student's story is evaluated on the quality of its composition. Examiners who give and interpret the TOEFL 4 should have some sort of formal training in assessment. The examples they gave were having college classes that were devoted to assessment or having attended workshops. The examiner should also be knowledgeable about the rules that govern English language usage. The types of scores available through the TOEFL 4 are age grade equivalents, percentile ranks, and scaled scores. The descriptive terms for the scores are very poor, poor, below average, average, above average, superior, and very superior. For the contrived subtests, which would be the first 5, which are vocabulary, spelling, punctuation, logical sentences, and sentence combining, the raw scores are figured out by adding up the number of correct answers. You get 1 point for a correct answer and no points for incorrect responses. They all begin at the first question, and they have a ceiling of 3. For the spontaneous tests, which are contextual conventions and story composition, they are scored subjectively by the administrator using a 0 to 3 scale to get the raw score. The raw scores are converted into percentages and then into scaled scores based on charts in the examiner manual. According to the examiner's manual, the TOEFL 4's reliability was calculated using several different methods: coefficient alpha, alternate form, test-retest, and interscorer difference. Coefficient alpha values are provided for each subtest for all different ages and grades. The reliability scores ranges from 0.72 to 0.96. The alternate form showed consistency in all but the spontaneous writing composite score. Test-retest values were primarily in the acceptable range, which was 0.80 to 0.94. Interscorer differences fell within acceptable ranges as well, which was 0.80 to 0.99. The test is primarily a reliable test. The least reliable part of the test is the spontaneous writing portion, which was mostly in the 70s to low 80s. My guess for the low score is because, like we had said before, it's up to the scorer to score it. It's not written out exactly how to score it. It's all based on what the scorer interprets. Through these details, the TOEFL-4's manual provides detailed descriptions of the test format and the test content. Through these details, the validity is explained by the writers of the manual. The manual also compares the TOEFL-4 to 3 other tests of literacy: the Written Language Observation Scale, the Reading Observation Scale, and the Test of Reading Comprehension 4. The results showed that in 2 out of 3 comparison studies, the test was acceptable and supported the validity of the test. The TOEFL-4 was found to be at a level 1A, which states that the sensitivity and specificity of the test is greater than or equal to 0.70. Based on this result, the TOEFL-4 is an accurate predictor of literacy. I could not find any modifications or accommodations that were allowable. I also did not see any information about limited English proficiency anywhere in the manual. The objective review I read was from smartspeechtherapy.com. The reviewer's name is Tatiana Eliseff, and she is a bilingual speech-language pathologist. Her overall impressions of the test was that it was a useful test to have in her toolbox because it found the weaknesses in a student's basic writing skills, such as simple vocabulary, sentence construction, writing mechanics, and punctuation. It really assessed the basic writing areas, and the administration of the subtests were flexible and could be done over multiple sessions. Tatiana found the limitations to be that it's an untimed test minus the story composition subtests. She mentioned one student who took around 40 minutes to complete each subtest. She also found that it was primarily useful for students who have severe deficits in writing. The other limitations she found included a lack of computer scoring and a lack of suggestions for remediation based on the results of each subtest. She felt that students who have a mild to moderate writing deficit would pass this test with flying colors while still presenting needs in writing. Tatiana also mentioned in her review that it's important to remember that this test is to be used as a starting point for students who have deficits in writing, and is really only a supplement to other testing that should be done. The administration, scoring, and interpretation seems to be well designed and easy to follow. The creators of the TOEFL-4 have taken advice and criticism from people who have reviewed and used their test and taken that to improve this version of the test. And the instructions are easy to follow and easy to understand for the students being tested. The test can also be given individually or as a group. The story writing section takes 15 minutes, but beyond that, the test is untimed. Most students can complete it in one session, and in general, it takes 60 to 90 minutes to administer and score. After reading the reviews and reading the test manual, I feel that the Test of Written Language 4 is a great test to use for students with severe writing deficits and is a good starting point to pinpoint what needs to be worked on. It does not guide the tester on what interventions or strategies to use once the testing is complete. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope this gives you a better understanding of the 4th edition of the Test of Written Language.